What's going on, pepperheads? Gonna start another grow log here after I explain exactly what I got here. Went to Home Depot. Outdoors in the front of the store, they had about 30 of these little potted chilies, and they were labeled capsicum and they were labeled ornamental pepper. So what I basically did, I'll even drop a couple of photos here that I took there while I was there. I'll drop a couple of those photos here in the video to show you exactly what I'm talking about. But these peppers were in probably 6-inch round pots and only stood about 8 to 10 inches, 8 to 9 inches, and they were flowering pretty heavily, and they were loaded with these yellow, turning ripe, ripening to this reddish orange color, and thought it was pretty interesting. I can't really tell you what variety this is other than what it says on the label, which you'll see here in the picture as an ornamental capsicum. Looks like some kind of ornamental small bonsai type chili as far as I could see here from the pictures and what I saw there at Home Depot. I took 2 ripe pods off 2 individual different plants there and took them home with me after I was done shopping. Bit into one of them, and what I noticed, to me, the taste right off the bat kind of reminded me of a yellow or a red bell pepper taste with a real nice heat that kicked in. Probably the heat of like a real decent type of chili. Like I said, I really don't have any other info other than what came off the label as ornamental pepper plant and capsicum. But definitely bonsai type pepper plants. From what I could gather, they looked kind of yellow and they ripened to an orange or even to a red. And like I said, the heat was pretty, I don't know, I want to say mild to medium heat on that. Nothing over the top, definitely not a super hot. But saved seeds from those pods that I took home here. Dried them on top of my fridge for about 5 to 7 days. Wound up filling this little starter cell tray. Filled it with ProMix HP, straight ProMix HP, nothing else added. Dropped about 3 or 4 seeds in each hole here. Covered it up, you know, lightly watered it in, covered it up, and just left it in my garage for, I want to say, 7 to 10 days. And I did not think that these were going to germinate. So after me checking on them every time I walked by for the past 7 to 10 days and thinking they weren't going to germinate, all of a sudden on day 11, might have even been 11 or 12, they started germinating 2 or 3 or even 4 seeds per hole. So I gave them 24 hours to pop out of the soil, and then what I did was plucked all the doubles that came up here. If I had 2 or even 3 coming up in a single cell, plucked it out, stuck it in another starter cell tray, and I'm still in the process of doing that right now. As you can see, I got 2 here, and these are all singled out. 1, 1, 1, 1, 1, 1. I think there's 2 coming up in here. So anything that continues to come up out of here in the next couple of days that is doubled up, I will pluck it out and stick it in these empty cell trays here. I got 3 more spots here. And what I plan on doing here is growing them here in my DIY grow cab, which you've seen me post on IG and Facebook, and I think I even did a couple of detailed videos here on YouTube as far as what this DIY cab is actually consisted of as far as LEDs and whatnot. What I plan on doing is growing them in here and get them as big as I can, transplant them into 5-inch square pots, and continuing to grow them out into here until they overflow this cab, and then putting them in this 2 foot by 4 foot grow cab that I have to the right of me right here. And basically what I'm going to do is I'm just going to do a grow log. As you can see, these are about 2 days old now. I'm going to do a grow log and continue this grow log for the next couple of months and show you the progression of these pepper plants here. And like I said, these aren't going to be anything crazy, wicked, wrinkly with a tail or anything like that. They're not going to be super hots. It's just something that I saw over at Home Depot. I took the seeds out, I saved the seeds, I germinated the seeds, and we're going to do a grow along here. And going to show you every step of the way here. These things will probably stay in these cell trays for at least 2 weeks. And then depending on what they look like in 2 weeks, I may pot them up to their final pots, which will only be 5 or 5.5 or 6 inch square pots. And we will detail the rest of that grow as we're growing along here on what soil I'm gonna use, what I'm gonna transplant into, what pots I'm gonna transplant into, what I'm gonna use for fertilizers and whatnot. And still don't know how many plants we're gonna have in total here, as they're still germinating, but it should be a nice little grow log and a nice little test, and see what comes of it, man. I'm really excited about this here. Didn't really get too many plants into the ground this year because there's just tons of stuff going on, you know, work related and et cetera, you know, just day-to-day life and whatnot. But I thought this would be pretty interesting to get something like this into germination trays, get them germinated, and just do a grow log and let you guys follow along as we grow these out and see what comes of it. And if you guys want any seeds by the time of this grow log is, you know, midway through or towards the end of the grow log, when we have tons of peppers and ripe peppers coming off these plants, you guys want seeds, I'll hand these seeds out for free if it's something that you guys want. But right now, this is day 2. We're still waiting on some more seedlings to come up in these other cell trays here, and we'll do another update here in 3 or 4 days, maybe a week, depending on how quick these come up and start growing. And we'll keep this as a grow log, so look out for some further videos to come out on these pepper plants in the grow log. And appreciate you guys, appreciate the support. Like and follow this video and our channel. Also, give us a follow on Facebook and Instagram. And I'll see you guys soon. Appreciate you guys checking in. Peace. What's going on, Pepper Fam? Here we are on day 13. In our DIY germination cab. On day 11, we turned another 2 light bulbs on. The 2700Ks were turned on. They're in the middle, which are your 2 orange bulbs. And tomorrow on day 14, we're going to turn on the other 2 2700s. And we'll have all 8 lights banging in this cab. Today these needed a little bit of water and a little bit of food, so I went with Aptus 0.5 mLs of the facilitator. And we went with 1 ml with the start boost. and they are looking great. Dark green, shiny, and looking great for day 13 since germination. So this is just a quick update here. This way I can keep track of this log for myself and for others that are following along here. But they are looking great. I think another week or maybe two, probably another week, I will pull these out of these germination cell trays and transplant them into, I think I'm gonna transplant these into Mother Earth groundswell. This way I don't have to mix any newts for the first 3 or 4 or 5 weeks. I could just let them eat up whatever's gonna be inside the groundswell. And I'm not sure on the size pots that I'm gonna transplant them up to. I'm still doing a little bit of research, and I gotta dig through what I have already. Maybe I have something I can transplant them into downstairs in my storage. But I'm thinking 5 or 6 inch square pots, and that should do it for these as their final pots. And then they'll go into the 2 foot by 4 foot grow tent next to me here, and they'll go under the SP250 Mars Hydro LED lamp on the lowest setting, and just let them grow out, see how they do. This is a new variety to me, so I'm not sure what they're gonna do, how big they're gonna get, and what they're gonna really produce. But we shall see. This was the quick update here, day 13. What's going on, Pepper Fam? Day 16 update here in the grow cab. And things are looking a little bit dry. They're starting to dry out. If you guys have been wondering what these 3 here are, these were late planted. Same variety, but probably over a week difference between these and these. These are probably only about 7 days old, where these are about 16 days old. So, but things are looking a little bit dry today. So what we got is the Aptus 1 ml per gallon Facilitor, 1 ml per gallon Start Boost, and the EcoZen 1 ml per gallon, all mixed up, pH'd to about 6.5. I think I have it here today. Haven't been giving these any bit of fertilizer per se. This is the only stuff I've been giving it, and these are very low ratios. These are kind of all macros rather than a strong NPK fertilizer. But I'm gonna run a bunch of this through each one of these cells to a ton of water, and macros or nutrient mix, whatever you guys want to call this, runs out each cell to give everything a nice flush, and get these ready for transplant here in the next 3 or 4 days. I'm just waiting on a few more pots to show up here from Amazon, and then I got my soil, I got my mycos, and I'm ready to do some transplanting on these here and get these into bigger pots. They are starting to get a little bit root bound, not too much, so they still got at least another week or two that they could stay in here. I'm not going to let them stay in here that long. Day 16 from germination here, and like I said, just going to run a bunch of this stuff through each one of these cells pretty hard until a whole ton of this stuff starts coming out the bottom. This way I know it's well watered and pretty well flushed with some new macros and whatnot to run through here, and that should do it for right now. That's all I'm up to. I'm just waiting on these new square pots to show up so I can get them into the new square pots, and I can go ahead and get them transplanted and get them into this 2 foot by 4 foot AC Infinity grow tent next to me, and turn on that SP 250 Mars hydro lamp and get these things boosting and get these things growing. These are ornamental pepper plants. I will be linking all of these small videos that I'm doing in the next 2 weeks. I'll probably link these all into a lengthy video explaining exactly what I'm doing here, what exactly this variety is, and exactly what my plan is with this ornamental type pepper plant in this grow tent. But that should do it for today. Just a quick flush out until all this stuff is running out the bottom, and these things are well watered and they're ready to go back in the DIY grow cab here and gets to growing. And I will update this video again once I get my square pots in-house and I'm starting to do some transplanting. I'll do a couple more short videos for that grow log that I'm gonna stick eventually onto YouTube, and give you guys this grow log from pretty much seedling stage all the way through until they start flowering and producing peppers. So stay tuned, guys. Appreciate the follows, appreciate the likes. Enjoy the rest of your week. Peace.
What's going on, pepperheads? Here we are on day 20 of germination on these seedlings. Just got done putting them in this 2 foot by 4 foot AC Infinity grow tent under the Mars Hydro SP250 LED grow bar. And we decided to take them out of the DIY grow cab so we can get them acquainted with the new SP250 above, give them some more air and circulation. And this is going to be their home once I get these 5-inch square pots delivered by Amazon sometime tomorrow, hopefully by tomorrow, because these are screaming to be transplanted. They definitely need more room to grow as far as their roots and their root zone. So we are patiently waiting for those square pots to show up, hopefully, like I said, tomorrow, and we can get them transplanted into some Mother Earth groundswell soil and let these babies start growing and producing. But this is basically your weekend update, day 20 on these seedlings. Hope everyone had an awesome weekend and an awesome Sunday, and everyone have a great week. Peace!
What's going on, pepperheads? So I just got a delivery from Amazon with my square pots, and I think these are going to be the perfect size for this grow tent and this little grow journal that I'm about to do on these plants here. Super sturdy pots with tons of aeration slots and holes on the bottom. Super thick plastic. I mean, these will last 5-10 years or longer. I mean, you can't even barely bend these freaking things, and they're a perfect size for what I'm trying to do here. I wanted to stick 18 to 21 plants in here, and it doesn't look like I'm gonna get 18 or 21 in here. Plus they shorted me 2 pots. They sent me 16 pots, and I think I ordered 18 to cover my 18 seedlings. But I do have a total of 21 seedlings. I was gonna take the best out of 18 to transplant in here, but it doesn't look like that's gonna be possible. So I'm going to go with 15, and we're gonna stick 15 in this grow tent just like you see it. And for those that may be interested in exactly what size pots these are, they are about 4 3/4 or 4.75 inches by, and that's wide, so that's going to be 4.75 square, and they are about, I want to say 4 1/4 from the top down. So the deep length is 4.25 or 4 1/4 deep by, measure that one more last time here. I want to say it looks like pretty darn close to 4.75 or 4 3/4, maybe a little shy of 4 3/4 square. But with the aeration holes, and for what I'm trying to grow out here, which are ornamental pepper plants, I think these are going to do perfect for this grow out. More videos to come. So I'm doing these videos in small clips so it'll fit here on IG. And once all this stuff is planted and we get growing here in the next couple of weeks, I'll do a final update on YouTube, and I'll link all of these videos that I'm taking together to make one lengthy video. As you can see, I do have trays underneath each one of these pots, and the pots the trays are probably about 7 inches lip to lip, but they look to be about 6.5 inches square. But if you include the outside lip on each side, they look like they're about almost 7 inches. And I'd say about 6 inches from the bottoms. Then they taper up top, get a little wider, which brings you to 6.5, and lip to lip, it's just about 7. And the reason I went with a little bit longer trays is so that the excess water that drips out will stay in the trays and allow those plants to suck up that extra water when needed. All right, folks, so it's time to do some transplanting. I have 21 plants, and I was going to use 18. I am now currently going to use 15 to fill that grow tent out. So what I'm going to do is I'm going to use Mother Earth groundswell soil. I like this stuff a lot better than the Fox Farms Ocean Forest, so that's what I'm going to do, and that's what I'm going to go with. I wanted something with a bunch of nutrients and a bunch of amendments in there, so I wouldn't have to fertilize as much for the first month or two, and I think this is going to do perfect for what I'm looking to do here. Basically, I have these 4 3/4 square pots. I have 15 of them to fill up, so I'm going to do like 18 scoops of the groundswell soil, and I'm gonna dump it into this bin here, and then I'm gonna do 2 of these square containers filled with the chunky perlite, just to lighten this mix up. I really don't have to lighten this mix up, but I have a shit ton of extra chunky perlite left over. And just for good measure, like I said, I'm gonna fill 2 of these up with the chunky perlite and add them to the 18 square cups of the groundswell soil, and get these transplanted. Each one of these transplants will be getting some of this mycos from Extreme Gardening. So before I put each plant into the hole, into the new pot with the new soil, I'll sprinkle some of this in the hole and transplant my plant into that, lightly water it in, and into the grow tent they go to start growing and producing. Okay, so we used these square pots and we did 18 scoops of Mother Earth groundswell. And now we're going to use the Mother Earth chunky perlite, size number 3. We're gonna do 2 scoops of that, just for good measure, into this mix here. Scoop may even do it, but I'm gonna go with the 2. Then we're gonna go ahead and mix this up. And there you have the final mix. 18 scoops of Mother Earth groundswell soil, 2 big scoops of the chunky perlite, and I think this is a perfect consistency, and it's pretty well amended and ready to get these plants transplanted in here and let them start growing out there in the grow tent. See you guys in a couple minutes. So if you guys have watched any of my other videos or my transplant videos, you know that when I transplant, I always trim off the first set of leaves so I can bury the plant deep enough to go about a ½ inch to an inch below the first set of true leaves. So I went ahead and cut those all off, and now we're gonna pull these out and start transplanting. Let's take a look at these roots real quick. So these are perfect. These, from what I can gather, what I could see here, I wouldn't say that these are overly root bound. I think these are exactly how you want your plant and your root system to look like before you're transplanting. So let's get this started here. Let's get these into some new pots. Plant number 1 of 15 is transplanted into the new pot. Mother Earth groundswell soil, and these things are ready to rock and roll. Once these are all transplanted, I'll come back and I'll show you them all back in the tent where they will grow out. And these will be the first and main and only pots that these are going to grow in. These will not be up potted further than this. So this is their new home until I'm ready to kill them off and their cycle is done. Looking awesome. 15 ornamental pepper plants transplanted into square pots with Mother Earth groundswell soil. And they are ready to go into the grow tent under the SP250 Mars Hydro LED grow lamp or grow bar, whatever you want to call it. And these are looking great already, ready to rock. All right, pepperheads, 15 ornamental chili plants transplanted into Mother Earth groundswell soil in 4 3/4 square pots. Just got done transplanting these bad boys. I watered them in pretty darn good, so they shouldn't dry out at least for a week. And that'll give them a chance to acclimate to the new soil, acclimate to the new grow tent and the new LED, and let the roots start stretching out It's sucking up some of those nutrients. But there we have it. Square pots, square trays, 2 foot by 4 foot AC Infinity grow tent. We got the Mars Hydro SP250. And we're ready to rock. Four and 3/4 inch square pots, square trays underneath, 2 foot by 4 foot AC Infinity grow tent, SP250 Mars Hydro, grow lamp, LED, Mother Earth groundswell soil with Mother Earth chunky perlite number 3 added, some extreme gardening mycos stuck in each hole before transplant, and these babies are ready to take off. I've watered them in pretty good, so they're set and ready to go. I shouldn't have to touch them for at least a week, week and a half. But I'm psyched to get this grow journal up and going here. Finally got the pots, got everything transplanted, we're ready to rock. Day 30 since germination. It's been about 5 or 6 days since we transplanted them from the germination cell trays to these 4 3/4 inch square pots. It seems like they're doing pretty good. Super dark green, starting to put out a couple of buds on the top of each one of these plants. Which is pretty cool, and I guess pretty rare for me, being it's only day 30. And they're already starting to try to produce here. But this is just a small update going into day 30. Day 36 update here in a 2-foot by 4-foot grow tent with my SOG Sea of Green ornamental peppers. And we're starting to see some blooms open here. Some of the plants. So peppers are not too far off from this point. If pollination does take place here, which I think they're going to do fine in here because the fan is blowing around, so they should have no problem getting pollinated and starting to form pods probably in the next week. But day 36, everything just got a nice watering, and it was plain filtered water, and it wasn't pH'd. My pH stays at around 6.2 to 6.8 on any given day, so sometimes I just fill it with the filtered water and water it on in and let it fly. Everything is super dark, lush green. And everything is growing good and everything is starting to produce. So this is just a quick update to keep this grow log going here. June 28th, day 36. And that's your quick update for today. Peace. Yo, pepperheads. June 29th update. Day 37 since germination. And everything is looking awesome in here right now. Everything is staying super dark green, lush, shiny leaves. Each one of these plants are starting to produce flowers, and within the next week or so they will be producing peppers. I was kind of worried that these stopped growing upwards from the main top stem, but as you can see, the bottoms are starting to grow out, so I got lateral growth growing. Even from the top, as you can see in here, these side leaves here, these side laterals, I'm getting 2 growing out here, and I got all the buds and pods that are growing up through the center there. But everything is looking awesome. Everything is super uniform, super green, super lush. Flowers are opening up everywhere, as you can see. Decided to turn these fans off because after making about a dozen videos, I noticed that the fan was a little bit loud in the background. Better late than never, right? But we got our 18 in here now. I'm currently on 14 hours on of daylight or LED light and 10 hours off. I do have a humidifier in the room that is running 24/7. I do have a carbon scrubber 4-inch duct fan that runs inside or outside of this tent. It's actually outside of this tent, but it pushes air out through the attic and out through the roof on the outside. So it's not venting inside this room, it's not venting in the attic, it's actually venting outside. And I do believe that's helping draw fresh air into this room and into this tent. I do have the oscillating fan in the corner. It is now shut off. SP250 Mars Hydro. But this is the quick update here day 37, June 29th. And I do believe this is going to be the last video that I'm going to make for, how do I want to say it, the first half of this series. I guess this will be officially labeled part 1, and then we will come back in a few weeks or a month and we will re-release the whole video, or just part 2. I'm thinking that, I don't know if I want to put 1 and 2 together and release that in a month, or just go ahead and post part 1 and then in a month from now post part 2 up on YouTube, on our YouTube channel, Better's Peppers. But we'll see how things go. I'm still very interested in to see how these produce and what they produce, and whether or not they're going to stay lush and whatnot. But everything looks great right now. Everything's going according to schedule right now, so have no complaints. But this is the quick update, end of part 1. So stay tuned. If you're watching this right now, give us a thumbs up, give us a like, give us a follow here on YouTube, on Facebook and Instagram, Better's Peppers. And hit your notifications if you guys are interested in checking out part 2 that'll be released in a few weeks. Once these are starting to produce a bunch of peppers and a bunch of ripe pods, I will release part 2 of this main video grow log. Thanks for checking it out.